So why was this the right move right now? Well, it was clearly time for a change at the Department of Justice. People want accountability. If that means arrest, so be it. But in 16 months, we haven't gotten much of any of that. So now Pam Bondi is obviously, she's not Bill Barr, but I don't think she was effective in this role. Certainly not as effective as she probably could have been, given everything that went on over the 4 years that Joe Biden was president and before that. Benny Johnson, the perfect guest on this. He's host of the Benny Johnson Show. He's also from Tampa, Florida. Pam Bondi is from Tampa. That's my former town. Ron DeSantis is from Tampa. Benny, did this move surprise you today?
I was out on a jog this morning, Rob, and I looked up and I saw an executive plane flying over my head. It had the coloration of Air Force One on it. It wasn't Air Force One, but it's clearly one of the executive fleet of planes. And I said, wow, what is this? It had the American flag on it and everything. And now we learned that Pam Bondi flew into Tampa this morning after getting fired by President Trump. And so that was her flight, literally landing at the airport. I had no idea what I was witnessing at the time. There was nobody expected to speak here in Tampa. And so now I'm connecting all the pieces. I guess I don't know. I should have been a little smarter and more tied in there. But I think Pam Bondi should have been a little more tied in the actual base and what the base wants and desires and demands. And what they demand is a federal bureaucracy that doesn't lie to them. And what they demand is that people who tell us that they're going to release the Epstein files actually release the Epstein files, and they're going to make arrests of pederasts, that you actually go ahead and do that. You don't give out binders as props in a stunt, and you certainly don't tell people the Epstein files are sitting on your desk and then force an act of Congress to actually get you to release them. You absolutely don't release an unsigned DOJ memo that was released on July 4th of all dates that say effectively that Jeffrey Epstein was an upstanding citizen, that he never trafficked anyone to anybody to anyone, and that, you know, we're just going to close this whole chapter. The era of trust me, bro, I looked into it, move along, that's done. It's done for Democrats. It's done for Republicans. We don't trust our federal government. You need to show your work. And you could have really done this right. I just want to state, like, for whoever comes in next, how to actually do these kind of things. You need to show people that you hear them, that you trust them. The American public is a forgiving public. We are a moral nation. You need to prove to us that we're not paying taxes to pedophiles. That's like one great, like, big thing you could do. And the way to do that would have been—
How about that for a starting point?
Not to exonerate Jeffrey Epstein, right, or anybody who worked with him, but to, like, slowly start releasing things, and to just start giving.
I'm glad you feel the same way,
right? And like, I just don't. I've never understand that strategy. I don't get it. I do know why it happened, though, and if you want to know from the inside, I do know why it happened, because I talk to a lot of people at DOJ. It's because they're not tied in. They weren't tied in to the online community that I speak with every single day. They're tied in a lot to cable news. No offense. I love Newsmax. I love the platform. I enjoy going on cable news. But sometimes there's not enough ability to talk about these subjects. And they don't realize that while there's audiences of millions in cable news, there's audiences of billions online. And they are obsessed with the Epstein files. And they're obsessed with understanding what was actually happening there with the Mossad agent, or agent of the UK or the CIA or whatever, and the private island and the jet and the princes and the presidents and the principalities and all of the Hollywood stars. And people are very interested in that. And so to just like brush that, I mean, that was game over, right? Yeah. So it was a lack of being locked in. You know, you have to be locked in and speak the language of the people. And so, you know, that was it. There was the trust deficit.
No, I totally agree. And by the way, I think everyone watching right now, when you say cable news, they know who and exactly what you are talking about. We don't need to be specific. The audience is smart enough to know what you're talking about there. And for whatever reason, she just avoided what was so obvious. And for me, accountability means arrests. But I think we can start with accountability. And whoever takes over, Benny, I think will do that, whether it's Todd Blanche. By the way, I've only got 15 seconds, but Ron DeSantis, do you like him for this job? Is that a possibility? I've heard that.
I do like him for this job. I think he's been an excellent governor, and he's been somebody who's obviously brought this state into ship shape. So if you're looking for somebody who's not scared of the left, who's not scared of cracking down on fraud or illegality, not scared of cracking down on institutions, like voting institutions, you couldn't do better, I think, than Ron DeSantis. He's obviously term limited. In the next 6 months, he's out of a job, right? And Trump just said he might bring him into the
exactly.
I guess we'll see.
Yeah.
And the final say on this, when it comes to cable news, you know, Rob, the reason why people don't trust cable news on the Epstein files issue is that we've all heard about Matt Lauer. You know, we've all heard about like what actually goes on in this business, across the spectrum in this business. It's messy, it's gross, it's kind of like Epstein, honestly. So why would you cover that, right?
No, good point. Good point. And it goes on and on, but hopefully it stops now. Benny Johnson, good to see you. Thanks for being on tonight.